Okay, so this video is going to be about pregnancy and labor because that's my specialty, women's health. A very common thing, for most women is that they are scared to give birth. They're scared to get pregnant. They're scared of pregnancy and they're scared of labor and birth. Um, it's actually a huge pet peeve of mine, and it's always been that way. So I had my son when I was 21 years old, and so a lot of my peers that I have children were thinking about having children. And so a lot of them, one of the most common things that they would say to me was, "Are you scared? Aren't you scared to give birth?" And I was always just confused, like, why would I be scared to give birth, like, or what? And that was obviously an inkling that I needed to be that the birth profession was my calling. Um, because I was obviously the black sheep on that because everybody just was like, that's terrifying. Giving birth is terrifying. First of all, the reason why people even think it's terrifying is because of the way hospitals do women here in this country. Women, their births are rushed. Um, and then the things they put on TV, it's always some woman screaming in pain. It's always just some dramatic shit. Like, it's always just some extra stuff. And, you know, that's just what it's a fear tactic. That's pretty much what TV does anyway. It's like it just puts fear in people, just makes people scared about stuff. um but which is ridiculous. But that's a whole nother soapbox. But I know the media is one of the reasons why a lot of women fear birth, and then they hear these horror stories from other women. But the reason why a lot of these women have horror stories is because they gave birth in less than favorable conditions. They gave birth when they were stressed out, which women should not be stressed during their pregnancy or birth. But in American society, that is kind of hard because women are just on the go all the time. They don't really get time to enjoy their pregnancy and take a breather. Um, so that, and then also again, a lot of these OBGYNs are not, and these labor and delivery nurses, they are not there to help women give birth. They are there to get paid, and they don't take proper steps. And that's why I always tell women, get you a holistic OBGYN or get you a midwife. Like, I am not in support of C-sections at the rate that they are in this country. I'm in support of inducing women. That's something that I hear all the time. Oh, I got induced. And it's like, the baby comes out when he or she wants to come out. The doctor should not tell you when you give birth. And then, understand, when you do that, when a woman is induced and the baby is not ready to come out, um, the baby will not want to come out, and so then you have to get a C-section. Okay. And if you're confused about why these things are bad and why these things are unhealthy, please do some research. I'll probably do a full biological video one day about why C-sections are bad, why rushing a birth is bad, and inducing and scheduling your birth. Like, when I hear about women scheduling their birth, I'm like, why in the hell would you schedule your birth? This is a natural process that your body's supposed to go through. But I guess that's part of the problem. No one looks at it like a natural process anymore. It's like this robotic, mechanical thing. Oh, we're just gonna cut you open and get the baby out, and it's unfortunate. And then there's this mistrust of midwives, as if midwives weren't isn't who delivered babies all throughout humanity. Like, the profession of being an OBGYN is new. Like, midwives, that's all that we ever had. And a lot of women gave birth on their own, like at home by themselves. Like, that's just how it was. So we've just gotten away from everything natural. That's just really how it is in this country at this point. We've gotten away from everything natural, everything holistic. It's all about medicine. making things speedy and fast, and hurrying up the process. Um, that's just in the society that we live in. Regarding fear about labor, what I have to say about that is there's no reason to fear labor. There's no reason to fear birth. You were given a womb for a reason. Your body is created to give birth. If your body was not created to give birth, you would be a man. You would not have a womb. You would not be a womb man. That's what the word woman actually used to be before they switched all of our words over. It went womb man, a man with a womb. That is your divine right and purpose. Understand, just like your lungs, you don't have to think about breathing and asking your lungs to help you take a breath. You don't have to ask your eyes to blink. You don't have to ask your head to turn or whatever. Your womb knows what it's doing. It knows, when it's time for the baby to come out. You start having contractions when it's time for the baby to come out. Okay, you don't have to rush anything. And then if you're ready to give birth, there are herbs you can take that are not harmful to the baby that you can take to speed things on if you're concerned about going over your due dates and things like that. So there's no reason to be fearful. Your body knows what it is. You have to trust your body. Okay, women have not been taught to trust their bodies. That is another issue in this country. Like, women are not taught to trust their bodies and to just, embrace the process. So again, that's something that I always was just like, no, I'm not scared of giving birth. Like, why would I be afraid of that? I repeatedly told my 21-year-old self in my head, 20 and 21-year-old self in my head, like, women have been doing this for the beginning of time. Why would I be afraid to do this? Like, I don't even. It didn't even make sense to me to be afraid to give birth because that's what my mom did, and then her mom did, and her mom did that. Her mom and 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 her mom, all the way back to women that I can't even name. That I don't even know where they come from. My ancestors, your ancestors, in your particular situation, like that's how you've gotten here. Vagina after vagina after vagina after vagina. That's how you've gotten here. Maybe some of y'all got it cut open, to get taken out, but regardless, there was a womb there to carry you. The womb knew what it was doing. Okay. They'll say that as far as you were the strongest, the strongest egg and sperm out of all of the ones that could have come down, out of your parents, you and your siblings. There are plenty of sperm that didn't make it. There's plenty of eggs that didn't make it. You did. So trust that your body knows what it's doing. If your body was able to get pregnant, it knows how to give birth. Like, it is what it is. There's no reason to be fearful of giving birth, especially if you have a practitioner, meaning whether it be a physician or a midwife, or if you just want to do it unassisted, that knows what they're doing. And I know the C-section rates are high, and the infant death and the maternal rates are high in this country. It's because they rush birth. They rush birth, and the practice that they do don't make any sense. They make you lay down on your back to give birth. That's not even a feasible position. Squatting is the normal position for giving birth. Doesn't that make more sense? Gravity, squatting versus laying down. When you lay down, you're more likely to rip. You're more likely to tear. Which again, a lot of women are afraid of that. Again, if you just squat, you're less likely to even go through that at all. Babies dying, okay, and hemorrhaging, women hemorrhaging to death. All of that can be stopped with breastfeeding. Both of those things it's very like the things that are common in our society are very uncommon if we practice the natural birth that we used to practice of yesteryear. So, yeah, like there's just no reason to be afraid of that. I hear women say all the time, I'm terrified. You're terrified because you keep hearing war stories from women that have given birth in conditions that the body was not made to be in. Okay? Woman was not made to lay down and give birth. She wasn't meant to be, forced into labor before she's ready. Okay? Like, so, yeah, I'm sure you have heard, I've heard horror stories too, but I was just like, I really feel like the reason why my birth went so well, went so easy, is because one, I told them what they were going to do in the hospital. Yes, I told my nurse and my doctor what the fuck they were going to do. You don't tell me what I'm going to do with my birth. Straight like that. I know a lot of people are afraid of their doctors and afraid of their nurses. Again, that fear. That fear will jack you up every time. No, you're going to do what I say. I want to sit up when I give birth. They were like, you want to sit up? Yes, I want to sit up upright so the baby can come out. I'm not about to be laying down. That's stupid. Okay, at 21 years old, I knew that, and I regulated on my nurse, you know, and told her what she was gonna do. I need you over there. You're too close to me. I need time to focus on my labor pain. Okay, you paying these people. You're paying these people, so look, they're gonna do what they're gonna do what you want them to do. Period. Straight like that. That's how I was. I was in there bossing people at 21 years old. A young black woman. I was telling people what they were gonna do, and what they weren't gonna do. My doctor told her I was like, you're not gonna cut me, okay? Because my body can do this. She said, well, yes, ma'am. Yeah, you damn right. That's how that's gonna go down. So you have to be confident in your body that your body can do what it's supposed to do. And I know that again, the media and all this other stuff, they tell you, they invoke so much fear that for a lot of women, that's not something that they're going to do. They don't even consider being that confident in their birth because they're terrified. They're already scared. So, look, I wasn't hearing none of that. Okay, I was telling people what they were going to do, what they weren't going to do, because again, this is my womb. Like, I'm giving birth to a human being. Like, what's more important than that? Nothing. So y'all gonna do what I tell y'all to do. I had read all these pregnancy and birth books, so I knew what I was talking about. I knew what was going down, and my birth went just like that. After I gave birth to my son, my nurse told me, she said, "This is one of the best births that I've seen in like, I don't know, 20 years." Yeah, I know, because I wasn't playing with y'all up in here. Okay, just straight up. So you have to be confident in your body that it knows what it's doing. Um, and again, I am a relatively healthy person. Like I've never had any major health issues, so I didn't see why I wouldn't be able to give. I was 21 years old, especially when you're that kind of age. Your body's agile. You're ready to go. You're young. You're vibrant. So I definitely, I was just like, what? Why would I be afraid of giving birth? Like, please, like, I'm me, like whatever. So it went straight like that. And then after I had my son and stuff, I made them room him in the room with me. He don't need to be in the nursery for what? He needs to be on my chest. Research the benefits of skin to skin contact post birth, or really in general. Um, how the baby needs to be chest to chest with the mom and or the dad. Um, and I actually was present for one of my friend's births, and the baby, something was going on with her blood sugar, and I want to applaud those nurses at Northside Hospital in I'm not sure if it's considered Atlanta, but in North Atlanta, Georgia, where the baby had low blood sugar. They didn't say, oh my god, the baby's diabetic. They told the mom and the dad, put the baby on the skid. And the dad, I remember he took his shirt off and held the baby to his chest. And within 20 minutes, the baby's blood sugar was regular. They don't want you to know stuff. They would rather your baby just be diabetic, okay, and just be on medications. A lot of these people, but those nurses were on top of their game, and they knew how things were supposed to go down. Okay, so it regulates everything in the baby's body, in the baby's system when they are skin to skin with their mother and their father. So again, taking care of yourself during pregnancy is one thing that you obviously want to do so that you have a healthy baby. Once you have the baby, trust your instinct. You want to hold your baby next to you. Like for me, I didn't think it was right my baby was in the nursery. So I was my baby in the nursery. They were like, oh, so you can get some sleep. I told them no. When I decided to have a child, that meant I was going to forego sleep. Bring my baby back in the room. Well, give us about 10 minutes. He better be in here in 5. Okay, I was in there regulating on nurses and doctors. Like, they were not telling me, no, y'all gonna do what I say, or I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna go home. Okay, I'm not about to sit up here and keep playing with y'all. And they did what I told them to do. He roomed in with me. Even my own mom was like, you don't want him in the nursery? You're gonna be exhausted. Okay, that's the plight of a mom. Okay, like that's just how it has to go down. That's just real life. Um, so like I said, there's no reason to be afraid of giving birth. Okay, I know media makes it seem like it's the most terrifying thing in the world, and it can be when there's been unnecessary interventions. Because once there's unnecessary interventions, unnecessary stuff is gonna happen to you and the baby. So again, my point is trust your body. You know what you're doing. Be confident in yourself. Educate yourself on labor and birth and pregnancy. Once you decide to become a mom, or if you just decide to, become pregnant, educate yourself. Like, that is the best thing you can do, because some of these people would just lie to you. They would just flat out lie to you about what's going on. Oh, your baby's heart rate's up. My son's heart rate was up while I was in labor too. I was eating lollipops in there. That's probably why. Okay. And he was just fine. So I don't think people tell you what you can and you can't do. Okay? I mean, make sure that you have a practitioner that you trust. A lot of people have these doctors that they don't trust. If you don't trust them, you should not continue your prenatal care with them. Find another person that you trust to be your doctor or your midwife. I do not let this person deliver your baby and you do not trust them. I trusted my doctor with my entire life. My entire life. So, yeah, that's important. So again, birth without fear. That's what I'm going to title this video. Birth without fear. There's no reason to fear birth. That is how everybody on this entire planet got here. Everybody, every animal got here via birth. So there's nothing to be afraid of. It's a natural process. It's just a part of life. So I'm sure that will help somebody. Because I know how scared women can be about this natural process. There's nothing to be afraid of. Is it painful? Yes. Are there natural ways to deal with your pain? Yes. I recommend getting a doula and or a midwife. And they know about herbs and oils and things you can do and positions you can be in to help ease your pain. But there's nothing to be afraid of. You're powerful. Your body was made to do this. So yeah, right on. Give birth, and when it's over, no, you can do anything. Cause that's one thing I know. There's been times where I've been afraid of stuff, and I was just like, hold up, I gave birth to a whole human being. Like, why am I afraid of this? So let that be empowering for you, as it should be, Like, I mean, after you give birth to a child, I mean, what more? I mean, what is more scary than that? That's what most people are scared of. What's more powerful than that? Nothing. So I will see you guys next time.